Some people are fortunate to work for multinationals where there's that protection,
There
there's
is
a wall,
clarity on
there's
culture,
clarity.
on everything.
First of all, let's go to the beginning of before evaluations. Onboarding. I don't want to even tell you about a company where I joined and for a week I was on my desk. I joined, total red flag, 1-page contract. Like I said, in this season, I've learned to know that not everything that glitters is gold.
What do you define
as
as onboarding in this case? Just
So
take us through the
ideally,
onboarding process.
the definition of onboarding is joining a business and taking you through the company vision, culture, goal, and what your role is going to contribute
In
depth to that outcome.
Now, Viola, we talked about a number of things. We had the reviews. What happens in the in that room of the reviews?
Yeah.
You're reviewing your supervisors. Your supervisor is also reviewing you against KPIs, behavior. But I want to think that. So these days there are many tools. There is one called Okao that is going to review. It's Okao. Okay, get your phone and look for what Okao is. HR people understand these Okaos. They review against the objectives of the organization. That one is really thorough before even you bring in the behavior bit. Then we have something called BOT, BOT, Building Olympic Teams. And this one relates a lot with the leaders. You have to know, the team that I have, is it the team that is taking me to heaven? The people I have on the bus?
Yeah.
Are we going together with chasing the same direction? So there are also elements that will look at competence, it will look at behavior, it will look at also something that I have to check out. And it's also good for the team. They look at it and they know, I think I am not fit for this organization anymore. I'm either overqualified because now you're a student, it means you're good. You're going to start asking for more money, and if the organization doesn't have that money, it means you're going to start looking out.
Yeah.
If you're a C student, it means you will have to walk your journey to B. An organization should stay with A and B. C, usually they have a lot of headache. But what I like about this tool, you can have an A student in terms of competence, but when their behavior is questionable. So you know you can put your A student out if the organization is very objective. You can put your A student out because you're competent, yes, but when it comes to your behavior, it affects these other members of the team.
Yes.
Anyway, after describing the tool, I want to now talk about if those appraisals that are happening today.
Yes.
Appraisals, are they fair appraisals? Let's leave alone the ideal, the appraisals that are happening today in the different organizations that people have interacted with. Are they fair appraisals? And what should be the outcome of an appraisal?
So some people use appraisals as a weapon to kick you out. They'll make comments and say, okay, we'll wait.
To the appraisal.
So it becomes a moment of the battle line.
But why are you doing that? Why? You leaders, why would you?
Well, others, depending on their DNA
Yes.
of their leadership, if they are boss versus leaders, we've all read those Maxwell descriptions of leadership, then they'll be interested. Because I want to remind every leader that and boss that truly you're only as strong as your weakest link.
That is true.
So as you calibrate and evaluate this weak, the person you perceive as the weakest link, it says a lot about you. I had a very good boss, Innocent, and he always made this very clear.
Tibeta.
Yes. Every time.
It is out there. Tibeta
Yes.
was.
Yes.
I think still is with the people that is leading.
Yes.
A very good leader.
Yes.
That is true.
He always, every time you had a complaint, he always bounced it back to you. because as a leader, complaining and whining was never a solution for you.
You have to dress your
So
monkey.
you must be able to empower your team, make sure they are winning. And it always tasked me on how I judge and lead people. Because if someone is not meeting your expectation, it says a lot about you, because that shows that you're not mentoring, you're not teaching, you're not accompanying them to the field.
Not holding
and
accountable as well.
Exactly. So you found that because now that comes about the structure, if someone like him is at the top, then there's a protection for the perceived weaker people, because he will bounce it back to you, and then you find yourself sweating literally. Now, in the present evaluation, like I said, it comes down to the company and culture. Some people are fortunate to work for multinationals where there's that protection,
There
there's
is
a wall,
clarity on
there's
culture,
clarity.
on everything.
First of all, let's go to the beginning of before evaluations, onboarding. I don't want to even tell you about a company where I joined, and for a week I was on my desk
Doing what?
watching
Movies on your phone.
LinkedIn Learning, because at least I had to make something with my time. Because I joined, total red flag, 1-page contract. Like I said, in this season, I've learned to know that not everything that glitters is gold. I've learned that sometimes it's better to be in the drought than go in the harvest and then not know what is underneath. There's no fertilizer down there. And you've heard the saying nowadays, the grass is not green on the other side.
It's not. Not at all.
It's a plastic carpet.
Yes.
You've gone. It's a plastic. These days, the grass is, it's not that saying the grass is not green on the other side
a
because it's
plastic
not
carpet
being
on the other
watered.
side, yes.
No, it looks green on the other side because it's a plastic carpet. And you know, these
There is
days,
no grass at
you
all, in
can't,
fact.
there's no grass. It's just a bought grass, you know. So it's even worse than not being watered. But back to the subject. How are you onboarded?
Yes.
When you're onboarded, some companies don't even onboard you. You get in and you're swimming with sharks.
What
the
do
team
you
doesn't even
define
know.
as onboarding in this case? Just
So
take us through the
ideally,
onboarding process.
The definition of onboarding is joining a business and taking you through the company vision, culture, goal, and what your role is going to contribute
In depth.
in depth to that outcome. What people think onboarding is you're new in the office. Okay, today they're going to take you. They create this timetable of this. Today you're going to
There
see
is
the
a
finance
paper that you
person.
move with, and you're the one moving with the
Thank
paper.
you.
Finance
You move
is
with
there,
the
you
paper,
go. You find them at their
and
desk,
then you find them at their desk.
and
Hi,
they
you're
give
welcome.
you 1 minute.
They tell you, oh, will you manage? Okay, we wish you luck. Then they sign. Then you move to the next person.
My name is Sheila, and I
Yes,
work in finance.
Yes. Oh,
Continue.
yeah. You're the one who has replaced the other person.
Yeah.
Okay. Then of
Your
course
boss.
you see that. Then you tick because at the end of the 2 weeks of that induction onboarding process, you have to give a full. The KPI
Yes.
is how many signatures have you collected,
collected?
as opposed to have you understood the culture of the place, have you understood the expectations of your role. What is your feedback to this onboarding process? How can we help you? Has the team appreciated your existence? Very many times you've been onboarded and given a role that someone has possibly been acting, anticipating to get that role. And for some 1, 2, 3 reasons they've not got the role, you've joined. You become an enemy of the
And
state.
the attack starts immediately.
It already started before you joined. I got information at a certain company I joined where I lasted only 4 months that they peeped at the window and they
She's the
saw
one, she has come.
she has come. So you're already an enemy of the state before you even know you're the enemy of the state. To use that word.
That is reality.
That is the reality.
It's happening.
You have a team that has not been told. They're breaking the news to the team that they're going to report to you. This is something they should have told the team before you even started.
They should have prepped the team before.
So it comes to them as an attack, as who are you? And then as you still now try to build your relationship with the team, and now you've bought them, you've sold your way. Because being new in a company is like dating. You're selling yourself to your team. You're showing them, you're pursuing them. Sometimes it's a free lunch, it's a pizza here and there. Because you're trying to show your hand and say that I'm here, we're going to win together. And now as they're buying in, there are some people who are not happy that that's happening. And then they'll still use your team.
I am glad that this conversation is happening. It's not new.
They'll
And you've
use
talked
them to
about the
fight you.
onboarding process. That is a topic for another day. I have my own experiences on onboarding. Now they are talking about using your own team. You are new, you've joined the organization,
Yes.
you're winning this team over, and they're going to use that same team
To fight
against you. I
Yeah.
have my personal experience that I will share, but after. Viola, carry on.
Yeah, so you find that now, like as a believer, you're studying the situation,
Yes.
you're trying to understand. But this is where I've been gifted. I have one-on-one conversations. I learned, again, thank God for my first workplace. My biggest wish for everyone is not to leave the corporate world without interfacing with a multinational company. And by multinational, I mean head offices possibly in another
Yes.
place, because there's a standard and a training that you get which you may be denied in normal
Locally.
local companies. So I had learned one-on-one reviews where your supervisor had to sit with you, ask you, besides the common question, where do you see yourself 5? But they would say, how are you?
Really?
How are you? And because your mind, your state of mind affected results, and they weren't aware of this. And so on my onboarding process, I take this journey where I'm learning my team, I'm understanding each of them. Some are telling me, I've been in this position for too long, I need to get my master's degree. How can I help you? Okay, perhaps we can talk to the HR, find a payment plan. A person, as a leader, you have a heavy, you're not given that title for free. But guess what? Your management style starts to unravel some people. It makes it, it was Denzel Washington who said, sometimes your spirit makes another person's demon quiver.
Yes, they waken the devil.
So because of your style, unconventional, you now, in the cocoons and groups of other leaders, you've become a problem. Because the team starts to talk. The salespeople are telling other salespeople, they call you.
Yes.
Viola, I'm told you become a problem solver.
Yes.
And in as much as it's a gift to you, it is a problem. You've unruffled feathers.
Yes.
And that has been my predicament, unfortunately. But I'm proud of it, because I am proud to say that every person I've touched under my leadership has turned into gold, and I have no regrets. Sometimes it's long term, unfortunately, sometimes it's short term. But like I said, it comes down to who I am as a person and my values as a person. So you've been onboarded, you're learning now, depending on what level you are. So you're learning your team. As you're pursuing them, they're falling in love with you, you're falling in love with them, you're trying to say how to deliver results. But some people are okay with your style. Other people are not okay with your style. But I say go with your style, because the truth of the matter is, it's an audience of one. So the onboarding process in Uganda is very, very, very shaky, because it's not clear. You're swimming deep, plug and play, as opposed to what are we supposed to do? How do you contribute? So that at the end of the day, when we come back to the evaluation process, there are no excuses. Viola,
we started the journey
this
together.
is how you started.
The expectation is very
This is
clear.
why you came.
Yes.
You came to deliver this and this and this. You're not delivering. You're not telling someone that you're not a cultural fit. What does that even mean? Because the truth of the matter is that word cultural fit for me it's just a lie.
A
Yeah.
culture has to be defined so that I know I'm in this organization and this is the culture of this organization.
Sheila, have you
But
been
the
to
good
organize? Sorry
thing-
to interrupt you. Have you been to organizations where their department cultures,
Yes.
the way finance behaves,
Yes.
is not how?
Yes.
So can we then say that there's a
Yes.
cultural fitness in such an
So
organization?
in that case, the good thing about culture, it doesn't even need to be defined. It's seen, it's felt. Before even anyone tells you that this is how we do things. At TK, I would say this is the C way. You already come in and you see and you feel, you smell the culture of the organization. So really, I get it. They
So
tell you
for
that you're not a
yes,
cultural
so
fit.
for me, I find that's just it's like those words people pick and just throw around.
Yes.
Because it hasn't been measured. There are no like attached research to it.
Yes.
Because if that was the case, because I've worked in organizations where marketing behaves a different way from HR behaves a different way. You'll even find your friends at lunchtime in finance saying, man, I wish I was in supply chain. Like there's a way they have like a solidarity.
But that is not you
So-
cannot stop that. Eh?
Yes.
Like
So now it shows that there's a gap, because then there are organizations, I'll tell you now, like Heineken, it was a flow. Everyone was expected to have a way they behaved, general respect, communication. We had a 24-hour rule for phone calls and a 48-hour policy for emails. If I emailed you, you needed to respond in 48 hours. We're assuming the first 24 hours are for you to maybe meditate or research upon your feedback. But there are places where you go and the email is hanging for weeks.
never responded.
It's unread. That's also a culture thing. So back to the subject of reviews, it's a process, onboarding, introduction to the team, supervisor expectations,
The conversation we
the
talked about.
conversation, signing off your KPIs.
I don't know how many people actually sign up KPIs.
The last job I had, I never signed off KPIs.
It's not
The
new
last
at
job
all.
and guess what?
Yes.
Again, I say I was foolish.
Yes.
I
you are
never
foolish.
ever went back to my laptop to say, according to my knowledge, I should have KPIs. At what point? Instead, they gave me a bunch of research to do. Actually, I was being used because they knew I had a consultancy background. They gave me audits to do. I did about 6 market audits, which I gave them. And in the middle there, I could tell that even in my presentations of the audit, someone would say something like, because I have my experience in like environmental law, and this is a manufacturing business. So I'm already projecting as marketing, what are we going to do? Maybe how do we work our way to get this ISO certificates to show our goods are good for export? How do we hold accountable consumer protection?
Yes.
Too much sugar, there's a war on sugar. These people, consumers, are getting diabetes from this. So I guess sometimes you're too much. But again, there's the saying that keeps going around of, if you have good talent on your team, it's a blessing, it's not a curse. But some people now look at it the other way around.
It will take
So-
me back to that conversation
Yeah.
still, the conversation that we're supposed to have. Because you can be having
Yeah.
very nice ideas,
Yeah.
but for as long as you and your supervisor have
Yeah.
not started to have this conversation,
Yeah.
to tell you that now, Viola, this thing of environmental law is very interesting. Please proceed with it.
Yes.
If you just come out and do things, hey, you're going to meet them there.
Yeah,
And
I
they're
was-
like, hey, when did we start this? We never had this conversation
And
that
in
we are
my
going to do
mentorship,
this.
actually, my style of mentorship has changed. Because the reality is there are two things, there's survival and there's thriving.
Yes.
So I always ask my mentees, which one do you want to be? Do you want to thrive? Do you want to survive? Based on your answer, I mentor you on that journey. If you want to survive every day as it comes, then my style is different. My advice is going to be different. I'm going to tell you, for example, speak less, listen, follow orders. That's it. If your boss has not asked you, do not I'm not that you're wise.
Don't
Don't volunteer information.
Yes.
Whereas another boss, because I served another leader who would
Yes.
say, Viola, I know you know this. Tell
Yes.
me. Then I'll say, let me read on it. Oh, this is what I know for now. I'll give you feedback. Another person will be intimidated and your submission will be a problem. And these are things you're able to tell at the beginning because the first meeting I attended, that was the first red flag. This person spoke, people noted, never spoke, and everyone left the room. It's when I started to now like put my hand, I was thinking this. That's when those ideas.
I think they were like,
yeah, but still, and people, I had some kind teammates who kept telling me, Viola, you're going to get in trouble. Don't speak. Don't you see us? Don't you think we know what to say? The salary is coming. So that's now survival mentality. But I'm legacy mentality. So you choose your war and you work with that. And I don't judge survivors. If it works for them, it's okay.
I think also depends on the environment and the kind of person you're dealing with.
Yes.
That's why it takes us back to knowing yourself very well, because knowing yourself is going to help you understand, study the other person.
Yes.
There are people who like it when you can volunteer information and tell them, you know, I was reading about this and this is what can help us. And others, you can't take that.
No.
You can't. Because who told you? Like, who gave you the permission to do that?
Jesus calls it casting pearls to swine.
Yes, but also
Every
the Bible
time
tells us don't exercise don't exercise yourself on matters above you.
Exactly.
Yes, you have to
Exactly.
seek. Sometimes you really have to seek
Yes.
permission to be in
Yes.
position to do that. So
Yeah.
we are going back. You are talking about appraisals. Now you've
Yeah.
booked the onboarding
Your onboarding,
journey.
yeah.
You've met your teams. You've discussed expectations with your boss. Now you're 6 months down the road or 1 year down the road. You're in that room going
Yeah.
to. What should we expect? What should we expect of that? The ideal appraisal journey. Then you also comment on what is happening today.
The ideal expectation
Yes.
is that you've agreed prior, you've signed, because the signature is the commitment.
Yes. Yes.
You've signed to it, and that the tools have been given to you. And there's back and forth engagements, because when you're preparing for your appraisal, it's like you're going to court
Yes.
with evidence. You have files, you have this, you're showing the work you've done. Sometimes you're even getting an email.
Yes. Pause a bit.
Yes.
I remember when I was still in FMCG, we used
Yeah.
to have TUs, work with this. You know,
Yes.
every time you work with your team, you have to
Yes.
have that checklist.
Yes.
Then you have TUs. By the time you go for appraisal, you have a big
file,
file like
yes.
this, like you're going to seek for
Absolutely,
P7.
yes.
Carry on.
So, because that's what protects you.
Yes.
Now imagine you had a bad onboarding process, KPIs are not agreed, you're on the losing end of this discussion. You've given this person every weapon they have, because by power, they're in rooms where you're not.
Yes, that is true.
Your supervisor is in a room which you're absent in. And even if your team says Viola was good, or your teammates say you were good, it's not your word, and it's your supervisor's
It's their word
word
against
you.
That is true.
So the ideal situation is that you've been onboarded correctly, you have a good contract, the tools of work have been assigned to you. What hasn't been, at least the output is clear, everything is clear. That's the ideal. But that's not the ideal.
That is not what is happening
Yes,
now.
the ideal is that you're expected to walk on water. The ideal is that sometimes your supervisor, it's just their gut feeling.
Yeah.
I keep telling people, I'm not about being
That-
nice. I'm just
that,
about what is John's capability.
Yes.
John may not like me, I may not like him. We may not have agreeable values, but it's the job. Let's focus on the job. For example, John is a sales representative. He visits 20 outlets a day. He's supposed to visit 30. My question is, what's the gap? How do we close the 10? Why aren't you
Is there a
visiting?
chance it can
Are
be
you
closed?
having long conversations where you shouldn't be having long conversations? Then we move. It should be systematic. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So you find John has a bias supervisor, will use that against them, possibly lean into, of course, KPIs have different weightings.
Yes, yes, yes.
So they will lean into something just to kick you out or make you feel incapable. And this is now the challenge I have. You never find HR coming in to say, okay, if John is not a fit here, where can they fit? If you, the supervisor, are saying John is not a, because it's a big organization. If John is not a fit in sales, can he be a fit in distribution? Can he be a fit here? Because the truth of the matter is, as a leader, you need to think of the livelihood.
Yes. This person out of here, they
Yes.
have a life behind.
The person, it may be a dangling thing to you, but their dependents.
True, it's true.
We have to pay the bills. We have to. So for you as a leader, where do you get the weight of judging someone's ability without holding yourself accountable?
The gap is
Yes.
yours. There is this gap. We've not had conversations unless
Exactly.
you've had conversations, because it's different
Where do you
when
get-
you've had conversations
Yes.
and there's been no improvement.
Exactly.
But here you've been watching the gap and you're like, kaninde appraisal.
You're waiting for the chasm to grow wider,
Yes.
and you're doing nothing about it. You've not recommended any training for John. You have not had heart-to-heart conversations with them. You don't even know if John is going through a divorce, and maybe that's why he's... You don't know if John has a sick child at home, and that's why he's coming late. You're aloof to the culture and the happenings of the world, and that's the unfortunate bit with leadership. And anyway,
It's a masterclass of for
Yeah.
leaders, what you're sharing
Yes.
right now.
It's very...
So Viola, what Viola is saying, that leaders, you have to have those one-on-one conversations. The quality of your
Yes.
one-on-one determines the relationship you're going to have with your person,
Yeah.
with your reports. Then you also have to be in position to see the gaps. What can we do about the gaps? Is it trainable? Is it something that you fail totally? We're recommending you to go and try another department, another section. And what else did you say? We have to understand people beyond work.
Yes.
Understand if there are situations that are failing our reports subordinates from performing. Sometimes it's not because they are incapable, but because they have things that are happening outside the office.
I'll share with you a real life story. So I had a team of like 6 people, and every time we had a meeting, let me call her Joy, she was always sleeping in the meetings. And I found that so disrespectful. Everyone is attentive. And after she would submit, she would lock out. And then I just said, what is the matter? Why are you sleeping? It's a meeting. I later found out that her mom had been in the Cancer Institute, and she was there every evening because all her siblings were abroad and she was the one in the Cancer Institute. So the nurse would break off in the evening, so she would go. Then on the day of meetings, obviously, she has possibly left to come. And I felt guilty, and then I told our overall supervisor, but did you know that Joy's mother has cancer? And the mother died after like 7 months. But imagine if I had said behavioral, sleeping in a meeting.
She's always sleeping.
She's always sleeping in a meeting. And people used to joke about it, agenda kwebaka. Because there are those people who are sleeping, that they lock out. But behind, there's always a why. Why is this person sleeping?
Yeah.
Are they doing something else? Do they have a health problem? But leaders today don't take that extra measure because they don't want to take that responsibility of understanding the depth of their teams, and that's the unfortunate bit.
That is the compassionate bit that leaders are called to have. So it's not only about having that role and sitting on that chair, but there is a responsibility of understanding your teams in depth to just know what is disturbing them beyond work that you can fix together. Again, we spend most of our times at work. That is interesting. Before we go to something else, now that is going to lead to the ideal appraisal process, appraisal session, and the answer is either yes or no. And also we want to be very clear that there are those people that even when you've done everything, bonga boba salawo, their performance is going to be that. It's going to be bad. Tebagambwako, we've seen those ones. Tebagambwako, they are very defensive. They are, yes, I have who, I know who. We've had those things happening. So I promise to tell you a story. When we're talking about, oh Lord, I have forgotten. Why didn't I note this down? About onboarding, the process, using your teams. Now, this is my personal experience, and you can note it. So I had a team. I had this particular team member that was recruited. We sat in the interviews. This person was very sound and was like, this one, we want this one on the team. So when they came, you can always have, and especially if you're level-headed, you're going to find a number of mafias that are fighting within the organization.
Yes.
And they may not come directly to fight you. They always want to use anything around you to fight you but themselves. So when this person joins the organization, fortunately, I was moving out. I had a trip out of the country. So while I was away, I always have listeners in the organization, not because I want them, but it just happens that people will volunteer, information. So I was away, and these people called me, different people called me, and they're like, hey, what is happening here? I don't know whether you're going to come back and find a job. I was like, what is happening? So this person had ordered the IT team to go and change the whole system. Like this information we have on the website, change everything. That website had like 500 templates. Wow. So head IT was like, no, we cannot change this. We have to get a write-off from Sheila. So you can as well wait for her to change. Meanwhile, someone had told her there is trash. Whatever is on the website is trash. It has to be changed. Okay, that one was packed. So the other person told her, Sheila is a placeholder. You're the real
You're
thing.
the one
You're
who
the
has
one.
come.
We have been waiting for you to come. That one, don't mind her, she's a placeholder. The budget is yours.
Yes.
Sheila doesn't have a say.
Imagine.
On this budget. This budget is yours. Okay, I was like, okay. I packed that one also. The other person, very many people said very many things. In fact, even the HR introduced them as head. I am the head, I'm still.
Yes.
In the organization, but they
But
introduced them as
another person.
head. So, and the person
conflict.
also introduced themselves to the agency as a head. So the people of the agency also wrote to me.
We have a head the other side.
The people of the agency wrote to me and they're like, Sheila, what is happening?
Yeah.
Are you still on the job or you?
Yes.
I'm like, I'm around. What happens? So that email was sent without me in copy meanwhile to the agency, without me in copy. I packed everything. I will tell you that I never lifted a finger. I packed everything. When I came back, I was like, hey, okay. So I told myself, I'm going to watch what is happening. So I found out that many people who wanted to fight me before have used this new person innocently. Yes. So I kept on telling, there is a good friend of mine in the organization that I kept on telling, this is what is happening. And she was like, no, have a conversation with them. I was like, no, I'm not having a conversation with them. This person is very innocent. They don't know anything that is happening. Whoever is instigating this is...
Yes.
So I'm like, let me watch, with organizations, just a matter of time. Yes. So I watched. I gave the whole situation grace, what is happening. I gave them information. I gave them, after like, it took a long time, like 3 to 4 months before things went back to normal. People were waiting for me to react. The good thing I had enough information.
So for how long was she head as you were head?
No, of course she was head only for that 1 week that I was not around. She was the head. When I came, the head was back.
The head was back.
The head was back. So the head was back. Of course, the introduction was made. I went and I told my boss, who was a CEO, then I was like, what is this that I've seen? The introduction is the head. What is happening? I was like, no, that must be an oversight by the HR. So I told the HR what is happening. The HR told me, no, that person reports to you. So have a conversation and tell them that they are not the head.
But you see how HR is now a player in the conflict.
I was like, I did not have this conversation. Yes. Because still, this person, I held them very innocent.
Yes,
I was
obviously.
like, if this person came in, what conversation did HR have with this person to make
Yep.
them think that they are the head.
Yes.
That is the point where you have to revisit that same point so that you
Yes.
clarify things. You don't expect me to go and have these conversations. So as we went on with that, I was like, I'm going to have this conversation at a higher level. I'm not going to stress the new person who has
They
just
have no
joined.
idea.
They have no idea at all. So the HR and the CEO were having a conversation, and they're like, Sheila is just being insecure. And that was also picked and brought.
Yeah.
You see that thing that is happening. HR and the CEO said you're just being insecure. I was like, okay, let's watch and see where this thing is going to do what? It's going to end. The good thing, as we went on, the individual kept on realizing that, oh, this is where power is, this is where power is not, and they aligned themselves. I told them after a year, I told the individual that you are set against me. But I got to know everyone who gave you information. I got to know. It was like, you did. I was like, yes. In fact, they told me to have a conversation with you, but I said I would not because you are innocent in this whole thing. She admitted now, and she shared everything that had happened during that time. So when you're talking about the onboarding process,
Yes.
the conversations that happened from onboarding, from
Yes.
HR's office until
Yeah.
when person, if it were a different person who is built differently, this is a point that I was going to start getting biases.
Yes.
So you look at this person and you're like, oh, so they brought me to take up my
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
But thank God that the Spirit lives within us and it can give us
Wisdom.
discernment, yes,
Yeah.
and wisdom. So you know that Viola is innocent, but the devil is behind Viola.
Of course.
Viola is not
Of
the
course.
devil.
Yeah.
So you finish that. Then it goes back to the team that is set against their
The
leaders.
leader. Yes.
That is happening a lot. But people who are involved in this, please stop.
Yes.
Shame upon you. Stop. Everyone should find a
yeah.
formula that works for them to
Yes.
lead their teams.
Yes.
People who are fighting other departments, especially when you go in their departments, you find a lot of katogo
Yes.
in their departments.
Yeah.
But they will set Viola's team against Viola because Viola is doing things differently.
Yes.
And they're asking, why are you doing things
Yes.
differently?
Yes.
Those things are happening. And we are talking about realities. Shame upon you. If you're that leader, shame upon
That's
you.
if they have any shame.
Please have some shame.
Some people, shame is also a gift. Some people have no shame, Sheila.
Have some shame. At least get that conscience. Don't allow to sell your conscience to the devil.
Yes.
Viola mentioned everyone who goes to work. This is our trade, yes. This is how we serve. This is how we exchange our skills, experiences for the salary that we get at the end of the month. But also, trade. This trade is, you have to realize that every individual has a team behind them. They have dependents behind them. They
Yes.
have children. They have bills to pay.
Yes.
You don't want to be that devil that is making someone have a very bad work experience just because you cannot put your things together. Shame upon.
That was deep.
Okay,
Your experience was deep. I think I've had a similar one. And if you notice, they always play genders against each other.
Yes.
I always tell women, we are our greatest enemy.
Yes.
And from my last experience, they turned a certain lady against me. I think she was meant to report to me, but the structure
Changed.
changed because possibly her ego was bruised and it changed. But I could tell that the divide and rule was never amongst the males. It was amongst the women. He said, she said, but I got to sense it. Because like you said, time and experience starts to show you these things. You're possibly, because remember you're new, you're asking someone, how do I go about this? And they take almost a week to have that meeting with you to support you in your transition. Some don't even support you in your transition. So you find yourself knocking on walls. I remember one lady calling me and telling me, you're knocking walls. But then I'm like, this is what I've done. I was asked an opinion about a certain promotional material. And I said, I asked, why are we giving this outlet this material? How much revenue have they given us for us to spend this much money on the material? And I think the person says, but we just asked if you like it or not. So
Your
you
other
find
opinion, you keep it to yourself.
yes, and yet as a marketer, these days there's a return of investment on what you
Yes.
do. You should be able to measure and say that we've spent this much.
Yes.
What has the business gained? If it's not a reputational gain, what is the profitable gain? But these are things people don't want to discuss, and yet those are the world standards
Yes.
of marketing and selling. So you'll find that a lot of women are their greatest enemy.
Yes, 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 yes.
And I keep saying that men will not like each other, but find a way of shaking hands and working as a team. But women are set up against each other because psychologically the powers that be know that this is the best thing. And we have failed to learn that. We shout for women's rights. We shout that, oh my God, women are leaders, women are this. But in the actual practice
of
it, we are the enemy to each other. And I hope that gets to change.
Tell them.
I hope we get to change as women and support each other. Yes.
Yes, so we talked about the HRS contribution. Now, this one, I don't know whether we should pack it for another
I posted
day.
one time on a group and I said HR needs to be taken to a prayer mountain.
Yes.
And I'll
Tell
say
me
it
why
again.
you posted that.
HR needs to be, because the actions of HR in some organizations, it is clear that this is a spiritual problem that might need divine intervention. But that aside, they're the instigators of chaos, most of them. You've just shared your story. You've onboarded someone. You have a head of department. Why are you telling another person that they're the head of the department? You've onboarded someone. You have a structure. Why aren't you prepping the team to absorb the structure? Why do you land it on them as a surprise? You've onboarded someone. They have a talent. You've said you want them to have the best of themselves. The last job I had, my HR said, bring your A game, which I shared publicly. I brought my A game. Story. And then they said,
tone it down.
Your A game is a bit too much.
Tone it down.
I toned down the A game.
You're sleeping.
And then they said, now what's happening? Have you lost interest? And to that I said, there's a bipolarism in HR. There's a political game they play, and it doesn't serve the organization. I've had very many conversations. The president, I think, who maybe is also leaving office, is a personal friend. And I said, what's going on? What role does HR play in the well-being of people? Besides organizing farewell dinners, sports days, what else? How else do we hold you accountable?
Yes.
It's Valentine's Day, they are giving everyone a rose. Perhaps that's not what I want as a person. Maybe I want a note from my supervisor saying, job well done. But they don't even have that depth of understanding, of knowing people. They take sides. Ideally, they should be fair. They should have a listening ear on both sides. But you find that HR is now taking sides. In a battle between a supervisor and their junior, HR has already taken a side. If they want to fight the supervisor, they will instigate the junior because they want to kick out the supervisor. For their own personal reasons, possibly this supervisor does not agree with them on how they do things. So they are there like a pawn, playing games across all departments, causing chaos. I don't know. Minus let Martha Muno, I don't have kind words.
HR, someone is saying that you need to go to a
I hope I'm employable after this, but my talent will sell me. But that's the fact of the matter.
But I think it's just an
yes, it's bad.
Looking at HR from to stop being only transactional
it's
to transformational HR. I think it's called transformational HR, where you look at each individual the way they. But I think HR is now trying.
We're trying to share stories. Let me share a real life story with you. On a very good HR I had, but at that point I also felt like they didn't take a position. But we're still friends to now. Now heading a bank somewhere, doing very well. My son, these are the intricate details of now employment.
Yes.
Remember, the dynamic of a woman and a man in employment are different.
Very different.
children need their mothers deeply. It was my firstborn's first day of school. I had acquired my leave days. I had almost 19 leave days. I requested my supervisor that on this particular day, I would like to escort my son to his first day of school and come back. Why? My son is very significant. First grandchild on both patriarch, matriarch side. But still, this is your child. This is your firstborn. It's their first day of school. Any mother with some bit of love and sense knows that first day is first day. I prepared. Everything was in place for me to go. I was in the field that day, so I was supposed to drive back and accompany my child, give him a hug, tell him everything is going to be okay, and go back to the field. I just needed 2-3 hours. This person said yes, but it comes down again to documentation. But again, I want to encourage people that, yes, we want paper trail, we want documentation, but you're only as good as your word. Let us also practice some honesty here. Because, Sheila, yes, we've talked of paper trails, we've talked of documentation, but if you give me your word should count for something.
Yes, yes. That
your
is true.
word should count for something. And this is something we agreed. I put in the leave day. They didn't approve it. It kept hanging, but they said, it's okay, Viola, you will go. This was a gentleman. I served, I was doing very well. Everything was top tier. I was driving, I had reached Tirini Road. I got a phone call telling me, choose between your job or escorting your son to school. I parked the car. I was desperate. You see, we live a life of seasons. That's why I tell people, sometimes the life we live is on the season. That was a very dry season in my life. I needed my job. I called the HR. I told the HR, I did this. Please talk to the person. Try to talk to the person. The person says, but we have this very big guest of honor coming, but I had prepared my team. They knew it was the speaker. She was coming for the visit. He said, no, you're the one who has the speaking ability. Then I said, but I've been training my team. They are ready. The person refused. I had to call. My son kept saying, where's mommy? Where's mommy? Where's mommy? Where's mommy? Where's mommy? You know, the whole family had appeared. Everyone had been present. I was the only absent one. Fortunately, my young sister's workplace was near his kindergarten. And she was there. He was wailing, where's mommy? Where's mommy? And at that point, I needed that job. It was paying me well. This person was serious. I kept driving. Then my spouse,
towards the school or coming
towards
back
Kampala
now.
now. But I parked at the station, and it's always good to have a person who helps you with a voice of reason. I talked to my partner, my husband, and I said, now, this is where we are. Then he said, I know you love work. If you lose your job for this moment, you're going to hate yourself. Don't worry, I'm here. Go back. But will I ever live to see my son's first day of school?
Not at all.
What would it have costed my supervisor for me to attend that day? In fact, it would only have motivated me more.
Your supervisor should have stepped in that moment.
It would have motivated me more to go. I would have been grateful for that day. It's just one moment, and he denied me that moment. And I told him, you denied me that moment. I wailed like a child that moment. My son is turning 12 in July, but that moment is still haunting me. You get? So it's at that point where you realize that there's an absence of humanity. There are small things that you can allow your employees to grieve, to do, to attain. And those are very big motivators. So your word, do we have to document everything? Yes. But I mean, so for me, that moment has stayed with me forever. And guess what? That's the moment that triggered me to look for another job. And in 6 months, I had got another job, and
so
I walked away.
This culture is not
I walked away unapologetically, and I'm so sure I did it out of emotion.
You spite.
And spite and said, I have to prove to these guys. And I walked away. I handed over and walked away. But it was a premature decision. But even the CEO of the company up to now is my friend, told me, do you have to?
Did
Do
you
you
have
have to
to?
go? Isn't this something you can forgive us? It stayed with me. So the dynamic of how women in workplaces work and how men in workplaces work is different.
Very different.
But the world is yet to appreciate that, Sheila.
So we
But
should be managed as such.
Yes.
It can't be a one size fit all kind of
exactly.
management.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a touching story, by the way,
Yeah.
very touching, and I hope it so gets back to us. It comes back to us because we have leaders, but we also have people that we lead. Whereas I also tell the people that if you know that you have a manager, these conversations are key. Whereas Viola's manager agreed and after turned his back, I don't know whether it was a she or a he.
It was a he.
He turned his back against her, but these are conversations that we must have.
Yeah.
If you're going, at least you do the bare minimum. These are the projects that I'm leaving. This person is going to take care of this, so that by the time you're going, the office is not closed. Those are simple things that we're also supposed to do as people that are working with the leaders, and we appreciate where they are seated. Okay.
Yeah.
Continuing with the things that happen in the corporate world that are never said. Now, the last one we've talked about HR is that last one for today. We want to talk about alliances formed against individuals. There is a story that you had started.
Yeah.
Just finish that story because it's also not new.
Yes.
I shared my own story, but now tell the whole world these alliances that are formed and how they work against people and what people can ideally do if there is, so that they overcome these alliances.
So I'll share. The good thing I was a literature student. I did the art of summary. So there are two stories because there are two different scenarios that spark conflict and create those alliances to form. The first, the most common one is someone who has been acting in that position and you have come. So this person has been promised 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months.
That's if they've been promised.
They've been promised. But of course, like I said, it's not documented.
Yes.
Sometimes, and it comes back to HR, sometimes HR is giving you your word to keep you motivated.
Yes,
I once
yes,
laughed
yes,
at
yes.
a very close friend of mine. He was a male because I joined that company and he had already acted in that position for 2 years. I said,
2 years?
he had acted in that position for 2 years. But after that, they made all of us compete for the same position. It was very sad, but fortunately,
He applied
left.
also.
He also applied,
Oh.
but at some point, the frustration made him look outward and he got a job.
Okay.
He left. But imagine making someone act for 2 years.
When they've been acting for 2 years, then you make them apply for the
The
same
same
role
job
and they're
and give
competing
the
with
role
you for
from
that.
the outside. This is the reality. So now imagine you've got the job, you've entered that organization. You are not going to be embraced. There's already a formed alliance against you, and you're not the cause of that alliance. It's the issue of the HR having made empty promises at the beginning, and these are human beings. They will take a while to embrace you. You will do everything you can. Sometimes you will win them over, but very rarely, because they will not be happy. They'll look at you, first of all, as a player on the other side.
Yes.
And for that, you become a victim. The other scenario is the genders in the workplace. It's a power play. The men will feel like this is
If
our
you're a woman.
If you're a woman and you're meant to supervise, some gentlemen may not take it very well because they prefer to report to fellow men.
They always have that cutting, but you guys, shame upon you. Shame upon you.
Yeah, the first thing is the promissory to the person acting and you coming, it causes alliances against you. The second experience I've faced is the gender.
Yes.
There's the man, he has been reporting to a man and now he feels like his ego, because we live in a patriarch society. He feels like his ego has been bruised and now he has to report to you.
That is very common.
Yes.
Very
Women
common.
face that a lot.
Yes. Shame upon you then.
So for the ones, if you find the younger gentlemen, maybe who are younger than you, they're easier to groom.
Yes.
because you tell them, I'm here, we can work together. But if you find the ones that are tallying with you in age or are older than you, then they may never...
And the ambitions are also still very high.
And they were possibly targeting a similar leadership. Alliances will form against you. How do you overcome that? For the one where the promissory, I've experienced 2 of those. I had to sit down because no one was coming in to solve the issue. And the person was fundamental on my team because the way the structure is, there was me, there was them, then the team. And like I said, I value women. So I sat down with this person. I told them, okay, look here, let me call her Jane. Jane, I understand this is what you wanted, but I'm here now. How can I support you to get where you want to get? And she said, I honestly appreciate the conversation. At that time, she was pursuing her chartered course. That time, the business valued MBA holders more than, and she didn't have that. Her only limitation to getting that job was she didn't have an MBA.
Oh dear.
So she had the ability, she just didn't have the qualification. So we had the conversation, a heart-to-heart. Somehow along the way, she even got married. We supported her. And then when I left, she actually took my role. And to this day, we're in different industries. We are still friends. But there are some people who will not embrace those conversations. Yes. Like the last workplace. Tried to give an olive branch. Guarded, locked, no. To that I say, just do your daily work. Do you. I prayed, I fasted. I tried to have complimentary conversations.
Yes,
nice shoes, nice bag.
Those things don't work.
Like I said, sometimes you're trying to date, but the person you want to date is not into you. Do you kill yourself?
No, you don't.
No. Your conscience, for me, I think it's about your conscience.
Yes.
If your conscience is clear. And then on top of that, people notice that this person has failed to embrace you.
Yes.
And they use them as a weapon against you.
Exactly.
And shame upon that leader, by the way.
Exactly.
Shame upon that leader, because I tried to pursue this girl. I tried to vibe her, for lack of a better word. She was guarded. She was never helpful. I tried, when I gave her feedback, it came off like... Have you ever given someone feedback, but to them it feels like an attack?
Yes, yes.
Then it created tension in the entire team. And then, because it was an open office, I was a manager, I had to have my office, but they put me in an open office, which I find is good. She would sit near me, I sit near her, but the tension was so much.
The aura was
the
from
energy.
In the morning.
So I felt I had to even move a seat, because I said, you greet someone, they don't respond to you. They don't, but you have to keep moving. So I moved with the team that was moving, and I left her out. And again, that didn't sit very well with her.
It wouldn't, even for you as a leader.
Yes, because remember, this is a person, she was not reporting to me.
Oh, okay.
She had rejected reporting to me, so they created a special, to manage her.
Yes.
They created a special segment for her. But this is now how leaders, above leaders, work.
Yes.
I asked my leader if we could have a 3-way meeting.
Yes,
triangular meeting for them to be able to say, okay, this is why Viola is here. You don't have to feel like this is what she does, this is what you do. So I was brand, she was something else, but again, when I would do my job, she would say, you're not supposed to do that, that's my job. And yet in my job description, that was my territory. So that unclarity also goes back to HR. And one time, as actually, this is when I knew now, this is a red flag. A meeting which was meant to be, you know, there are meetings where you must be in that meeting.
Yes.
By virtue of the purpose of the meeting, you have to be there. So the meeting is called, the venue is given, you walk to the meeting, and they say, no, you are not invited for the meeting.
So what?
They say you're not invited for the meeting. And then this person proceeds in the meeting, and they shut the door on you. They shut that door on you.
You're new in this organization.
Yes, this is like
counting how
week
many
4.
months? Week 4.
Yes.
That is 1 month into
Yes.
the organization.
And that sometimes it's okay to surrender. You don't have to wait to be thrown out. The lesson is that sometimes it's okay to know that it can't work.
Yes.
Because we are auditing each other.
Yes, yes.
You're auditing the organization to see if they are a fit for you, and they're also auditing you to see if they are fit. But most times from a point of desperation, we let the audit be one way.
One way. But I think it's not only about desperation, because by the time you join the organization, it means you've been somewhere, you tendered your resignation, you've left, so you're having all your hopes
There's
in this
the
organization.
fear of failure. That's the
Yes.
desperation. I mean, Sheila, you don't want to show that you have failed. Because people will say, the person didn't even last a year. Yes, you've just joined. Like, you get.
Yes.
There's that fear and desperation that you shouldn't come off that you failed, which I think the Gen Zs are beating us to that. They throw in the towel in 2 weeks.
Man, those guys.
3 weeks. They have the confidence to say,
guys,
I'm protecting my mental health.
I don't want that audacity, not yet. So what we've learned from here today is that the alliances that are formed, because there are different reasons why alliances are formed, situations, gender, man not wanting to report to a woman. I don't know whether it's the other way as well.
Yes.
And also if someone has been acting on this role for some time, they bring and they gang against the new person. These alliances, there are very many stories. I am sure you who is out there and watching this, you've also had those alliances that have been formed against you. Maybe you will just share with us how you manage those alliances.
Please, in the comments.
But it will still take us back to knowing yourself. Why I love self-leadership and I coach in self-leadership, because it's going to tell you who you are. You'll know exactly, even your areas of weaknesses, you will know them and you know how they impact each one. You can tell me that, Sheila, you have let me say, what did they use to abuse me? You have a big nose. I will not get a name, because I know this is a wide nose. After all, it doesn't take anyone's oxygen.
Yeah.
But I know that when I'm in a room, if it were taking a lot of oxygen from others, I will know that now it's going to consume a lot of oxygen for others. Now, your weaknesses are going to help you ground yourself. You know exactly what you're supposed to do when. You know exactly how your triggers are impacting the other people that you're working with, and how your strengths are helping you also, by the way, overcome some of these weaknesses. So that's how you're going to manage to fight the alliances. Fighting, I don't mean bare knuckles.
No, true.
Also the relationships in the organization. We have to be very deliberate at creating relationships. And relationships don't just create any relationships. Find where there is influence. Those relationships are good to have. And don't create because you're politicking. Self-value, that you get value at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful conversation we've had. Talking about the realities in the corporate world. Very many things. We've not even scratched the surface, because there are a lot of things.
Too many.
Yes, that are happening in the corporate world that we never see. I'm going to ask Viola now to give us your last shot, and hopefully we'll see you again next time talking about the same topic.
I'm always going to be happy as a guest. To the audience, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's throw in those comments.
Yes.
My parting shots is that understand who you are and your values, because this is what will outlive you long after you've left that job, long after you're buried 6 feet under. There will always be a resounding reputation of who you are. How do you discover who you are? It's a journey, it's a process, because who you are at 10 is not who you are at 20, who you are at 30, who you are at 40. We live, I liked a book I read where we live in morning, afternoon and evening. So in your morning, that's when you have like the most energy. You're bright and up and early. You're from 0 years to 20. That's the morning of your life. There are things that you must be able to achieve, because I'm assuming some of our audiences is not in the evening of their life. So what do you achieve in the morning of your life? That's when you build your character. Character building, you're planting seeds, you're understanding who you are, you're becoming firm and not leaning into the pressures of the world. In the afternoon of your life, that's when now the production starts. most times your reputation is going to be your biggest asset because there are people, unfortunately today, Sheila, there are people whose reputation is scarred, but they rule the world.
Yes.
So they misrepresent success. And that's why I keep telling people, there's good and bad success. There's good and bad. Success is not good entirely.
Yes.
There's good and bad success. I want good success.
Yes.
Viola wants good success. You choose the type of success you want. And that's the success you go after, because there are people who are okay with bad success. Unaccountability, wealth unexplained, growth that cannot be accounted for. They give a false illusion of life. And if you follow that you'll be going on your journey of bad success. So the afternoon, basically, Sheila, you're now harvesting and you're seeing, how do I upskill internet? We're living in a changing world.
Yes.
AI tools. So that's when you're now trying to thrive. Then the evening of your life is you're slowing down, like it or not.
You slow down.
My MD used to say, as night comes after day, or as day comes after night, there are some things that must happen. You are possibly a beautiful, curvaceous girl, but that is about to change. No matter how many surgeries you do, Botox or Zempic, you will not remain the same. What invisible things remain with you in the evening of your life that will carry you on in that moment? And to the gentleman, what type of personality do you want to build as a man for your children, for your family, that will carry you on? And that's the type of journey I'm trying to achieve until God calls me. So enjoy the corporate world, and the corporate world is different.
Yes.
For military, you know, leadership is exercised differently.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the military, they encourage confidence, courage, honor.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the corporate world, it's a game of sacrifice.
Yes.
It's a numbers game. It's maybe let's downsize these people.
Yeah.
Just last week, one of my friends was downsized, but her job was being advertised in the same week. And we were confused. So this is a reality. They had downsized like 54 people, and the same company used an agency to recruit. And there was no accountability there. So believe me, we are all indispensable in this game. Let no one think that they are not replaceable. But your character is what will remain to you till God calls you. So let's just keep learning and sharing. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is a thunder.
Yes.
So again, I am requesting, I am pleading with you. Please, 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 please. You can help us move this podcast, support this podcast by subscribing. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just click the button, you subscribe, and we are able to impact very many people. You can imagine how many people are in the corporate world and they are stuck and they are puzzled. They don't know what to do next. Very many things are happening, but they don't know, how do I start? Where do I start from? By subscribing to this podcast, you're supporting it to reach many people, and we should be in position to bring you very many impactful guests, just as we brought Viola. That is your assignment after watching this.
Yes.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.